welcome to my Getting Ready for Class Peaceful Cove presentation. I'm Miss Jen, and here are some items I always like to have for my painting sessions. If you are looking through the materials list PDF and you're like, what's a brush caddy? It is a paintbrush cleaning caddy, which I'll talk about later on in this presentation. If you don't have it, a cup of water works perfectly fine. And I like to use thicker paints. You do not need to use Artist Loft. The brand doesn't matter, but what does is what it is container-wise. So these like Craft Smart ones tend to be a little bit more runny, and that will make it difficult to get the look that we're going for the sky. So I find that these thicker ones, Liquitex, Blick, Artist Loft, the Liquitex Basics, Golden, only if it's the thick consistency. If the thinner ones will not be very friendly for the blending technique that we'll be using. If you do only have these thinner Craft Smart, I definitely suggest purchasing a thicker white in any brand. And it also makes your paint last longer, and lots of white in general. I use a lot of white in my painting. Gloss material, completely up to you. I do like to use various acrylic mediums. If you're new to different acrylic mediums, the thicker gel is, I find, a lot easier to learn how to use than, say, the runnier pours. So it's going to the two extremes. These are the brushes I like to use. Fan brush doesn't always come with sets, so just be aware of that. And for the first part of this painting, we will be using these brushes, two of the larger flats on the right. If you don't have those, or you only have one, just know that you have to stop and clean in between steps. And the white is palette knives that's circled next to the fan brush. If you don't have the palette knife, you can just use a plastic picnic knife to mix your paints, and that's what you'll use that for. And the large flat brushes are great for covering large areas, so we'll use two of those again for our sky. And again, if you don't have two, you'll just have to stop and clean and dry your paintbrush before you move on into the painting. These small flat ones are really great. I use those for the waves along with some round brushes. I have a lot of these texture brushes. You may not have them. They're great to have. They're not a must-have. It just makes really cool texture for your sand. And I always like to talk about ruining our brushes. We want to avoid scrubbing really hard on our canvas, leaving paint to dry on the brush. I'll talk about that as we're painting. I like to wrap them up if I'm not using them in damp paper towel or a baby wipe to keep them ready for when I want to return to them. Definitely try to not leave them overnight in water. I do that on occasion, and it's bad. And it's tempting to use the tip for drawing the paint, drawing into the paint. Just be aware, you don't want to ruin your brush necessarily, so wipe it off when you're done using it in that way if you choose to. And here is an image of my brush caddy that I've had for decades, so it's kind of expensive to purchase, but you'll use it forever. But it really does expedite the brush cleaning process, and I really like to clean my brushes well with a paper towel before I put it in water. You could spend a really long time just cleaning your brushes in water. Color choices are yours. Color wheel is a great investment. And I'm going to go through these next few slides quickly. So don't worry though, this presentation is available to you in a PDF form to take a closer look at all of it. But I love this for gaining inspiration, breaking down our primary colors, our secondary colors. On the back side of the color wheel, you have all these fun ways to put together different complements, split complements, triads, etc. We could go on and on, but I would definitely encourage you to look for one of these. And what are your favorite color complements? Mine's purple, so my direct complement is yellow. Values and scales, we'll be talking about that as we're painting. we're doing a gradation in our sky, so we'll be going color-wise across, not just like lighter to darker. Tints and shades, we will not be using black necessarily unless you really want a dark look in your sand. Otherwise, we'll be using a lot of whites, so we'll be creating tints. Planning is important, so have a pencil handy because we will sketch out different aspects of our painting before we actually jump in with paint. I'll talk about scale, the just general sizes and parts of our painting. The proportion of our sky versus our water is really important for bringing this composition together. Those are artistic choices for you to make when we start our painting. Also, as I'll mention, when we are painting, that the lines that we create and the plans we make change as we're inspired, as we're actually in there creating our work of art. Perspective, again, coming back to that and how we plan it, just deciding that our waves aren't giant puffs, otherwise it'll feel like, whoa, what happened? So in this piece, using that as an example. Our background and foreground, again, as part of our planning, how much of that sky is going to take up our piece versus what's up front, which would be our water and also our sand. We'll have a couple of horizon lines and viewpoints to get that perspective. The first one would be where the sky and the beach meet. That is, going to determine how the structure of our composition. And then the other one, way horizon lines are defined, is where your eye lands in the painting. So for me, I notice that it is usually that line at the back part of the water. So that's a lot and real quick, but just want to give you a little heads up on a few things to be ready when we dive into our painting session. Message me with any questions.